Hey guys, welcome to the first ever episode of The Real. I am your gracious host, Alex Onal. What do you want me to say? You got to introduce yourself. But who's this? Who's this guy next to me who's raising a complaint already on our first ever episode?
It's not my fault I'm raising a complaint. I'm Matt Wood.
Matt Wood.
Sat opposite me is...
Stephen Greaves.
Stephen Greaves.
Yes.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Did you fart or something, you dirty bastard?
Prawn sandwich, fishy fingers.
Smell your fingers, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to know where you've been sticking them.
Right, anyway, first film we've been doing.
Okay, yeah, so this is our first ever episode of our podcast. But what is The Real? What is this podcast that we have unveiled onto people in their ears?
We are reviewing things.
Things?
Films
Is
in
this
particular.
Films? Yes,
Yes,
films in
films in
particular.
particular.
Maybe with the odd game review thrown in.
Maybe
films.
feel
Hence
like
the
it.
name
'Cause we
The
like
Real.
games as well. We like a lot of things actually over here. Maybe even do a comic book review, because I like comic books.
Well, you could, but I don't read them,
What
so
you do
unfortunately.
yourself, Alex?
I'll do it.
Yeah, just
myself.
do it
I don't
yourself.
give a
Yeah,
shit.
why
I'll do
not? Yeah.
Leave my microphone with you.
it. Alright then, yeah, so that is what this podcast is about. The idea is that each week,
Three idiots are going to get together.
three of us do get together, but also each week, we each pick, all the three people who are present on this podcast at the moment, pick a film each week, and they pick the film, and then we talk about it. We watch it beforehand, and we talk about it. And maybe this is something in the future that you, the audience, can get into. Isn't that right, fellas?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what is the first film that we talked about?
First film we watched was Dr. Strangelove, chosen by you, Alex.
Yes, by me, because
You love this film.
I love this film. I really love Dr. Strangelove. I think it's a fantastic film. I think it's a great comedy. I think it's a great statement. But I'm biased on this matter. I think what's more important for this, especially since that I chose it, I think it's more important since you two have never seen this film before, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
So I think it's good to say what your opinions are. Matt, what do you think?
I've never seen it before, and I think it's a very good film.
Yes.
It's in black and white, but like I said to you guys when we first started watching it, is it a new film made to look old, or is it an old film that looks new?
I thought at first it would kind of just open it up in black and white and then it would colour.
Yeah. But because of how new it looked, but for the
First
time,
period,
Yeah, it looks pretty good for early 60s. It's not bad.
60,
It's all
64.
that
Yeah,
Blu-ray
it's fine.
technology, fellas. Makes those old films look great.
Yeah,
So,
we did watch it in Blu-ray.
So yeah, positive feelings on this film. You liked
No,
it?
good film.
Did you think the most important thing with any comedy? Did you think it was funny?
Yes,
Yeah,
it definitely had moments.
as I said
Yes.
in his first take that didn't save. It.
You don't need to know that.
We can edit that out.
Yeah.
The storyline builds up, so it's easy to understand. There's not many things going on, and it's easy to understand if you've no idea what it's about before. But as the storyline builds up, so does the comedy. So like, said the best to last.
Yeah,
But
definitely. Yeah, because it was very
still funny
serious
in
at
the
the beginning.
middle. Yeah.
It didn't seem like a comedy at all when
Not
it
at the
first
beginning.
started.
No.
Oh.
But I think that's the point, really.
Just like a normal war film, to be honest, with like setting you up the seriousness of nuclear war.
Serious of the war, and then they sort of basically do the best to take the piss out of it.
I think that's something important we should have mentioned is what the plot of this film.
The plot of the film, yeah.
The plot of the film is essentially that there is a colonel that goes mad called Ripper, and because he's afraid of the communist threat, it being the Cold War, a lot of people were the Red Scare, as it was known as. Because he was scared of it, he wanted to initiate an attack first, so he goes against the order of the ranking of the US system and orders a nuclear strike on Russia, essentially. And the entire film is essentially the President of the United States, Mandrake, who's played by Peter Sellers, who's a fantastic actor, of course, and also plays the Dr. Strangelove, which is named after this film. Also, he's like Eddie Murphy, but better, good. And they're just trying to stop a nuclear disaster from happening. They, believe it or not, the Americans didn't want to cause a nuclear war, despite the fact that they tried. but we're not better, in fairness.
But yeah, I mean, I think one quite funny bit is where the Russian president has the relationship conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
When
yeah,
he's talking to the
definitely.
president,
Yeah.
because that's one of the things that's great is like the American president and the Russian president have this great kind of chemistry with each
Yeah, I
other.
know. It's like
It's almost like they're a couple or something like that with the way
Yeah.
that they speak
yeah,
to each
it's
other.
like, oh, don't
No.
you want to talk to me? You don't want to say hello?
Yeah, and it's like
So
of course I want to say hello. Not now.
It's only a friendly chat.
Yeah, it's like this. It's brilliant. I mean that's one of the things that's great about this film is like the humor's so simple. It's so like just elegant and just like placed in and like
Yeah.
like
But
it's
funny.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny.
It's like the
superbly
war room
written.
stuff. It were like nothing that happened in there would ever happen really.
No, of course
Like at all. That's
He could see the big board.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just spoken comedy either, though, is it? It's like towards the end where the guy in the wheelchair.
Dr. Strangelove. Yeah.
Yeah,
The main
it's
guy.
very. I believe the correct term is well orchestrated, because I mean, obviously, what? Don't do that. Don't make faces at me. This isn't a comedy.
Castration.
Okay, that's a bit random.
So yeah, comedies. Yeah. Sorry to get off topic. Though, like, I think this is a problem with a lot of modern day comedies. Is like it's so. It's it's simple as well, but it's not the good kind of simple. It doesn't. A lot of comedies today, they don't feel very like
They don't feel like they're going anywhere the majority of the time.
It just feels like little sequences that are funny, and it's like it just doesn't feel well made. It just feels like oh, this is a thing that, like the kids like the rap music, don't they? Let's make fun of the rap music. And it's like
yeah, I think the
oh, a
spoof
guy got
stuff
hit in the
is
head
definitely
funny.
yeah.
But yeah,
It's
Dr.
like-
Strangelove, very good. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, I recommend you watch it.
Definitely,
No,
yeah.
no,
I
definitely.
would. I mean, I would to death recommend anybody to watch it. I mean, I think it's a superb film. I think a lot of the things about it are incredible. I think the acting is. I think the acting is great. I think the writing is great. I think the cinematography is fine. I think the editing is fine. And that's one of the things I like about. I like a film where everything feels just works together.
Yeah.
And that's what's good about this film. Nothing feels like out of place. Everything works well.
Juxtaposition.
Like
And it's the editing's good because back when that was made, they didn't do it on computers.
in our computers, mate.
They were on them reels, wasn't it? Just
Well, they,
actual print.
well, they did have computers. They were just massive, and they didn't.
And
Well, yeah, but they did.
Yeah,
release
but
it
obviously
with
not
the
like a laptop today or
Yeah.
whatever.
The plane shots, the outside plane shots, yeah, if you know what you're looking for, they're obviously
Yeah,
Fake as hell.
manufactured.
just like a
Fake
little,
as
just
hell,
like
yeah.
a plain place on top of it.
Yeah.
It sort of, in a way, explains where you're going next.
No, yeah,
Sort of like
It
it
was
would show you the
necessary,
plane
like-
before you
Yeah,
went
yeah,
inside.
it's that's the point, isn't it? It's just to show you where
and it's
it
like
is.
back then, obviously, you didn't have CGI, so it was like we can't magically we can't just fly a plane and like
Yeah,
do
exactly.
this,
And try
it's just like,
and
we're just
film
gonna
it.
use them.
Yeah.
So they would have filmed like locations from actually in a plane.
There are some
Going
parts
around
where it
and just-
genuinely does look like the plane is there.
Hmm.
I think I counted
Yeah.
2 times when it genuinely looked like
There
the
is
plane
some.
was
I think there is
yeah.
some stock footage in there as well.
Mm.
I mean, that's definitely the case for some like the explosions go off and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
stock
Like
footage
the
ending.
nuclear explosions. There's definitely a lot of like stock footage in there, but I think it kind of fits with it.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes this film good. Is like a lot of films. There is a problem films can do where they become just a product of their time.
Yeah.
Or like they it's like when you make a reference that's about a specific thing that's happening now, it becomes dated because of that. Because like if I made a film that had a Gangnam Style joke in it,
Yeah.
that joke wouldn't be funny 10 years down the line
No,
for somebody
well,
who does no idea what it is.
50
Yeah, yeah.
years later,
Yeah.
because this film was 64, 50 years later, if you made a...
50th anniversary actually this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! Congratulations!
If you
Stanley
made-
Kubrick, he's dead.
If you made sort of like a film now about Gangnam Style, in 50 years' time, the chances are no one would know what that is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why this film works, is because it's one of those films where it's like, it's about nuclear devastation, yeah, but it's also about war as a whole, about how pointless sometimes killing is, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
because of that, because it's about a very human thing, it transcends that, and you can like today it's still as applicable as it was back then in '64 when and I like that in a film. I like a film where it's like
And it's still
when
just as fun.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
timeless.
yeah, it's timeless.
Yeah.
Exactly, Stephen.
Yeah.
Timeless. Yeah, I mean, the film as a whole is just incredible. I mean, in my opinion, anyway. I mean, I love Nazi jokes. Any jokes about Nazis?
It was a while ago now, so
Frank
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, that was like only 20 years after the second, like 19 years after the Second World War.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And they're already like, oh, let's make fun of those Nazis. Well, I think that's okay though, because a lot of people, it's easy to like make Nazis funny or like the enemy because they're from fucking the moon, aren't they? The Nazis.
Yeah.
Like, well, obviously they're not the humans, but you know the concept of a Nazi is so alien to a lot of people.
Yeah.
That it's like, you know, it's like, where the fuck are these people from? Like, whoa, like, where did they come from? But in real life, no. I mean, like, obviously Nazis were just like regular people, like
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
obviously.
Just that, you know, they got swept up in the propaganda and
They had a dick.
well, a few really.
Well, yeah, but they had one ass.
The entire Nazi
so let's do
regime.
the shit. Yeah.
Well, Hitler was very persuasive.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, well,
I don't know. I wasn't born in 1939, so
No, maybe about 50 years later.
We learned about it in history.
Stanley, I don't know.
Stanley, yes, Mr. Kubrick himself, the director of this film, who is the greatest director that ever lived, in my opinion. And I do think he's definitely my favourite director, and I still think he's one of the finest directors to like have ever like existed.
It's
like,
good. It's good to watch if you're learning about film.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the thing. It's like you know, if you're a film student. I mean, me and Stephen are film students. Matthew isn't. He's
I'm a music tech student, sound engineer.
Fucking you outcast.
I'll take my mic.
Give me your lunch money.
I'll take my mic and leave.
Yeah, but the thing is like if you don't like it, good enough. But it's still a good thing to watch.
Yeah, everyone's entitled into their own opinion.
Yeah,
completely,
but if you're learning film, obviously, if you want to get into that, you got to watch even stuff that you don't like.
It's like when we watched Citizen Kane.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't like that film.
I know. I mean, I like Citizen Kane. I don't think because Citizen Kane is usually half the time regarded as the greatest film of all time, and it's easy to see why. Because when that film came out, nobody fucking done anything like it.
Yeah,
before.
exactly. Yeah. But now it's alright, but I've seen it because like it's the film that changed film. But that's why it's still classed.
Yeah,
as that because you got to think of it as that time, not now.
Yeah, exactly.
So
things change, you know. Like today, we're so used to it. Like for us, it's all about the CGI and the shit now.
Yeah.
Speaking of CGI, I'm so fucking glad that there's like barely any CGI in the Star Wars Episode 7 apparently.
Yeah,
Because like Kevin.
Well, there are directors, aren't
come on,
there? So.
I mean, Kevin Smith, who's like a great director and like he's a massive Star Wars nerd. He actually went to see the set and like he said, there's actually like things there, like you know, like original Star Wars. I'm so excited for this film. And if he says that, I'm excited for it because Kevin Smith is a massive Star Wars fan. Yeah. And if he says it's fine, then
yeah.
Can I just say,
go on.
This film has a PG rating.
Yes.
Some mild language, sex references, all sort of that.
Yes. Proves
they're very subtle though.
Yeah,
I think that's
worst language.
I don't give a damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See, once you throw in some language in there, that's when it starts boosting up. But that's how Simpsons do it, though, isn't it? Because that is actually an adult show, but
yeah, I mean,
I think
that's definitely a compromise for humour. It's just like, oh, let's put a swear word in there. Haha, that's funny. But this is like, you know, they didn't need the swear words because it was well written.
Stuff that would go over a kid's head, but understandable by the parents.
Yeah, no,
that
definitely.
sort of humour.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just as a whole, like that film's just great.
I'd recommend if you haven't seen it, watch it. If you have seen it, you're entitled to your own opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, what would we rate?
Well, obviously me. I've seen this film well, not countless, but I've seen this film quite a few times and I still love it even after just watching it recently. So for me, definitely it's going to be a 5 out of 5 completely because you know it's funny, it's smart, it's got everything I like in a film, and in all honest opinion, there's nothing negative I can say about it.
No.
And for me, that's definitely worth 5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah.
Perfect score. You did it, Mr. Kubrick. This is it.
Stephen?
Alright, I'll give it a 3. I know you might find it a little low, but
let's have a talk here. No,
I enjoyed it, and I'm not sure why, but it just didn't do it for me.
It's got a charm to it.
No, it does. It does. Like
flaws and
I would watch it again, but it's not something that like someone asked me like, what do you want to watch? I'd go, oh yeah, that.
It's not something you'd find in your DVD collection.
No, and I've got a lot, but no, I did enjoy it. I thought it was funny. You know, Peter Sellers. I love Peter Sellers. He's a great actor. Funny actor. Yeah. No, I still enjoyed it, but yeah.
Good, yes. Matthew?
Yeah, I'd give it a 4. I'd go in between you both. Give you a 4. Give it a 4. I found it funny. I found it very clever. I found it easy to understand. So I've never watched it before. I knew straight away what it was going to be about. I liked the way the comedy built up, and I liked the fact it was in black and white, but looked really good for its time.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like your old black and white, grainy, rubbish film.
Yeah, but that could be Blu-ray thing, to be honest.
Yeah,
it could
no,
be, but it's
even
one of them things.
Yeah, yeah.
It's still really good.
This is the time when colour was like, had been around for at least like probably
10 years,
maybe.
Yeah.
So it's understandable that, like, obviously because technology improves, like, the thing that was before, it also improves with it. And it's like, today you can make a black and white film on a fucking camcorder.
Yeah.
Because there's an option to turn it black and white.
That's what I mean.
Exactly.
That's why I said when we first started watching it, is it a new film made to look old, or is it an old film that looks good?
Like one of those art films.
Yeah, I definitely thought it were a film that was in colour but only started in black and white, because there are a few films that do that, and I thought that was one of them, but
because of the quality of the image.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Yeah.
Kubrick for a long time. Pretty much everything before 2001: A Space Odyssey was black and white.
Yeah.
But I think especially for this film, because of the tone it gives and kind of what the film is about, I think black and white kind of suits it for that reason.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
It's like it's very hard to watch a neo. It's very hard to watch a noir thriller in colour. You know what I mean? It needs to be black. LA Confidential did it, but that was a neo noir film. So, but I'm saying, like, if you were to watch, like, the Maltese Falcon, it wouldn't be as good if it was in colour. It's just one of those films. It's like you said with Lauren Harder.
Yeah.
Like, watching that in colour would be like, I can't
it's just
Charlie
not
Chaplin couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's a product of its time, and it needs to be kept in the way it is. Doesn't need a remake. If someone remakes it, I swear fucking God, I'll rip my dick off.
and for that reason, I would give it a 6. No, I'd give it a 4. No, I'd give it a 4 because it's good. I enjoyed it. I recommend people watch it, but I just wouldn't have it myself.
Yeah.
No,
but I wouldn't say no to watching it again.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, even as a whole, I own the film, but I'm not gonna watch it now for probably like another 3 years.
No, but then when you come to watch it again,
you're
like,
it's
great.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Shaun of the Dead syndrome.
If you watch a film too much, it ends up just getting crap.
Anyway,
it really does. Yeah, you start picking faults. Like, even though like it's a film that you love, but you're watching that much, you just start picking stuff out, and you end up just not hating it. To be honest, you don't really want that with film, do you?
No, you don't, and I agree with that. I mean, it's something that I think is missing from film these days. I mean, there are still great films out there. Don't get me wrong, but I do feel like that in kind of today's film society, no one's trying really to. Don't you dare. No one's really trying to like break the mold. No one's trying to. Well, I suppose it is with the internet. Like, the internet's kind of like where film's going these days. Like,
yeah,
like, like that. But that's just how it is. But enough about that.
I kind of don't want it to though, cause
I love TV. I mean, it's like Tarantino when he's like, I don't like digital film making. Like, he prefers like a reel, and like he prefers actual film, and that's understandable. But that kind of thing's always going to exist. There's always going to be like some guy's going to be like, I'm going to make a Super 8 film. I mean, no one uses fucking Super 8s anymore. They're old. They're very old.
But it's just that retro vintage.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's one of those. Yeah, no, I mean, it depends on the kind of film you're making. Like, it depends on. It depends on what film you're making. I mean, obviously, the Hollywood films always live for the now, and it's like, we don't really give a shit if this film isn't looked back on in
exactly.
10 years.
It's for the gross, isn't it?
It's for the money,
yeah.
But I mean, there are some Hollywood people out there who actually try to make good films, and half of them succeed, and some of them succeed, and majority of them just like fail.
But yeah, like I said,
for those of you who don't know, because of course this is an audio podcast, whilst I did the sound, I also did motion for masturbation.
Because that needs to be clarified.
Well, it needs to be clarified. It's an audio podcast.
We need to put us pictures on this podcast as well, don't we? But yeah, anyway, I would highly recommend the film.
Yes, definitely.
Yes,
I'll talk about it long
you've
enough.
got to watch it. You've got to watch it.
It's one of them films you've got to watch before you die.
Yeah, definitely. I think.
Well, if you're hearing this podcast, you can't really have an actual viewpoint of what we're saying unless you actually do watch it.
And you've no excuse not to watch it.
But watch it. I definitely say.
But
watch it if you get the chance.
Leave us comments. Let us know what you feel about yourself.
Yeah, because we definitely want to know what other people think about it.
Thank you, valid. Yes, you listener. Thank you. Thank you for listening to our first
One
ever
listener.
Yeah, me. Well, I'm editing it.
No.
But thank you very much for listening to our first ever episode of The Reel. Hopefully this is something we can continue doing. I mean, there's so many films out there, so many films, good and bad ones. We will look through them.
The bad ones will be good, I think.
If anyone out there's got any film suggestions you want us to review,
definitely.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do them.
Tell us. I mean, like, you know, we're going to get an email set up. We're going to get an email set up so you can send us an email. You can ask us questions if you want. Doesn't have to be about films. You can just ask us any questions you want.
Within
like,
reason.
you know, it's the size of my dick. You know? Do not ask that. We will not give it a valid answer.
No, we'll just reply with who was.
Who has done that? If you've got film suggestions, if you want to tell us what you thought of the film that we watched, that's fine. You know, if you listen to this on iTunes, it'd be really nice if you left us a review. You know, a concise review that helps us out, whether it be negative or positive. Yeah. If you liked it, you know, give us that 5-star rating. Get us on the front page so other people can listen to it. You want that, don't you? You want that? Because if not, I'm going to come to your house.
Okay, we can't.
You know, calm down. If you listen to this on YouTube, you know, there's a huge comment section down there. And you see
and there's some right stuff that get on there.
Comments don't write themselves.
No,
exactly. Yeah. So thank you very much, everyone, for doing it. But first, before we leave, there's another episode coming after this, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
I'm pretty sure there is, because this is episode 1. There's obviously going to be other episodes.
Yep.
And since my film was done out with, I think Stephen's film should be next.
Yes, I've picked Johnny English for my first film.
Yep.
Yeah, Johnny English.
Come on, Rowan Atkinson.
Some may say a British classic, or maybe some don't. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see when it comes to the actual podcast. But it doesn't matter. We've talked about this shit for long enough.
Tune in next week.
Seriously, thank you very much for listening to this podcast. We will try to get it out as often as we can. And yeah, thank you. So goodbye.
Alright, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.